Today I'm putting together a video on intake manifold removal and replacement, and I'll tell you why I'm doing it in just a minute. This is a 2005 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck, and luckily from what I hear it is not the Hemi engine, it's the 4.7. So I've Googled it. You've heard this before. Since nobody made a video on it, I will, and I bet there's 100 others that I just couldn't find. Anyhow, let's see, the customer said that it was running rough. They didn't know what was wrong with it. They put spark plugs in, and they think they screwed up the plug job. Well, it's coil over ignition. You really can't get them mixed up. He had them on right. Figured I'd pull out the spark plugs, and I'll get up close on the spark plugs here. This is only a sample of 4 of the 8. Of the other 4, 2 of the electrodes were gone, and the other ones were also flattened like that. A couple of them had pretty fresh strike marks on top. So I'm confused. I don't think he told me the whole story. Asked him again, said nope, nobody removed the ductwork and threw something down his carburetor. I'll speed this up. So the only thing I can figure out is that part of his plastic intake manifold broke up and went into all 8 cylinders, because if you get something in one cylinder, it certainly doesn't travel, even if you lose a valve guide or something. It idled beautifully. It had a light miss when it idled. Can't believe it. That's all it had, with 2 electrodes missing and all 8 spark plugs. Well, the 2 electrodes that were missing, of course, they weren't smashed. But look at the gap on these. I mean, look at the electrode on it. That's the way they came out. So back to the intake manifold. You have a breather pipe all the way in the back, which just kind of pops off once you pull the manifold off. I didn't do anything to it. You have a harness of the anti-knock sensors coming out the back. The manifold itself pretty much looks like this. I not only recommend but remove the sensors first. That's just the Torx on one side. That sensor comes off. Your mass airflow, 2 bolts on top, 1 underneath you can get to once you take the rubber boot off. Get that out of your way. Take the cables off. Take the throttle cables off, and take off your 2 plugs here. Get it out of the way. It'll help when you go to lift it off. It's kind of blocks it up here on the firewall. Also, what gets not interesting but turned out to be easy, I didn't know how the EGR tube came out. You do have to stand way up on the truck, reach way back. This is not installed, of course, but here's the bracket. Back here you have to take off these 2 8mm bolts, which you can actually reach with the back one. A deep well 8mm worked really well, and then a shallow on the front with an air ratchet. And you do have to take it almost all the way off, that way you can get it out of your way. Otherwise the manifold has to pretty much come straight. Get this out of the way for you so you can see. The manifold pretty much has to come straight up and then forward. Okay, so that's all that is. That just sits in there like that. You do have to take the bolts off. The other thing you do have to remove, let me get this out of the way, besides the cross bracket that holds on your air cleaner box. Here where the throttle cables